Welcome back, listeners, to Toxic Waste of Time, a podcast where my Gen X co-host and my millennial self discuss our relationships with everything. And this week we are returning to The Facts of Life, one of Ivy's very favorite shows from her youth, and one which I had never seen until she made me watch it for the podcast. Last week we were talking about Season 2, Episode 1. This week we're talking about Season 2, Episode 2, which is like Part 2 of that first episode. So we split it into two parts because Nashville got hit with an ice storm and everything went crazy. So we needed a little bit of time to get our act together after all of that happened. Thanks for understanding. And now let's get into the episode. Here we go. Then it goes to Part 2. Oh, it wasn't even, when they get arrested, that's the end of the episode, and then it moves to Part 2. So there was definitely a commercial break and a do you want to watch the next one? And I was like, of course. Mm-hmm. How are they going to get out of jail?
So the next episode opens with the four of them in a jail cell when a big, scary girl with perfectly coiffed hair gets thrown in the slammer.
Oh, dear. Everybody on this show had perfectly coiffed hair.
It was the 80s. When this other inmate tries to steal Blair's watch, Joe gets all tough gal on the much larger, older girl, and she backs down because, of course, Joe is terrifying.
She was convincing in that scene.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
She was always convincing. Joe was the best actor on this show.
Fair enough.
And then Mrs. Garrett comes to get them out of jail.
Yep. And Mrs. Garrett says, it's handy to have a headmaster that plays golf with the judge. Wow.
Right.
Okay. So I guess that the court system doesn't matter. Only Mrs. Garrett's law shall be enforced.
It's who you know.
It's who you know. Girl, okay.
This is when the girls find out their fate for the next 6 to 7 years. They will forever be 4 girls sharing one room.
Kill me now.
They can only stay at Eastland School if they abide by 3 conditions that Mrs. Garrett lays out for them. Mm-hmm. Number 1, they have to live above the kitchen in an old storage room across from Mrs. Garrett's room. They have to work in the kitchen to pay off their debt or be expelled.
Their debt from wrecking the van, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They fucked up. Y'all fucked up. Bad.
They fucked up, but it gave me joy because it gave me 8 years of the facts of life.
Yeah.
Well, 6.5 because Cloris Leachman, no.
Is that the stupid sister?
Yes, and she's not stupid, and I probably would like it if I watched it now. It was just,
wasn't
I never
the same.
liked to. I didn't like it when Mrs. Garrett went away.
Yeah. Well, neither did her other family, I guess. That's why they came to stalk her at the school. And
right. Yeah. Exactly.
So, they return to the cafeteria to meet Howard the cook. And then they flirt with a boy who seemingly very late at night just pops into the school campus to apply for a busboy job.
Right?
I was like,
where did he come from?
It's like 2 a.m.
It had to be.
Yeah. And then flirt, as they always do, but he's then run off. So, what was the point of that character? Does he ever come back?
No, it was just a boy.
Just
random boys for them to make flirty jokes at.
It's just, all right, whatever. Yeah. Cool. So then Howard the cook says, I always say a woman's place is in the kitchen. And Natalie says, I bet his specialty is chauvinist pig. And Sean, who was watching this, like, through osmosis, he was, like, in the room while it was on.
No.
He actually cackled at that. He actually, that got a laugh out of him. Preach, girl. I was like, I think my reaction was, oh, God, come on. And I missed what her line was.
I knew you were going to like it when Natalie said that, though. I even made that in my notes.
You did?
I had the same thing in my notes. Yeah, I was like, Katie's going to love that.
I think that if I'm going to choose, I think I relate to Natalie and Blair, like, equally. Because if Natalie is the kind of thirsty one who is a writer, that is also me.
So
It's just that Blair is full of herself, which is also me. So
I'm not sure if I put it anywhere in the script or not, but since you brought up who you relate to.
which one are you? Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you. So when I was 9 years old, I moved to Personality Court in Lexington, Kentucky. And I had some neighborhood friends and everything, went to school on the school bus, and there was this little girl, and she lived up the street, and she hung out with this guy named Lucky, and Lucky was way older than us. He was actually the foster child of her next door neighbor. And he was kind of trouble. He flushed my head down the toilet once. But anyway.
What?
Yeah. So Lenny used to ride her bike down into the court. And I referred to her as the little girl who thinks she's a boy. And she referred to me as that little bitch down on the court. And one day, she and I were at the bus stop. And we became best friends. Best friends. Like
in one day.
Inseparable.
In one
at one meeting at the bus stop.
One meeting at the bus stop, besties. Okay.
Yes.
How
best
does this
friends.
happen?
And she was Joe and I was Blair.
Ah.
That was the whole thing. But
Okay.
when you were talking earlier, it was like about the archetype thing. It was like there was parts of us in everybody.
Yeah.
But
that's
you
how
had to
real
pick.
human beings are.
You had to pick your one, right? Because I'm actually nothing like Blair. And she is a little like Joe. But I'm actually nothing like Blair, except for at the time, I was the girly girl.
Yeah.
Still a little bit of a girly girl.
Yeah.
And she was the tomboy.
Yeah.
The masculine of the two. When actually I went to her high school reunion with her 10 or 15 years ago, and as we were walking in, she said to me, "They're all just going to think you're my girlfriend anyway." So, and she's straight and has a husband and all of this stuff. But that was just when she said that to me, it was just like, well, I used to call you the little girl that thinks she's a boy. So, but I was the bitch down on the court. So I got the bad end of that stick.
Well, yeah, that kind of makes me think about archetypes and like the idea of forcing people into boxes of, you got to be this or that. When that's not how
and we
human
did
beings
that
are.
so much in the 80s with things like this.
Mm-hmm.
And like with the bands that you like, you pick your guy.
Yeah.
And then nobody else can have that guy.
That's boy band marketing for you.
Yeah.
They still do that shit. Yeah.
So upstairs in the girls' room, everyone is complaining about sharing the bathroom and all of the pantyhose. And at one point, Blair comments, "I'm not like the other girls. I haven't had all the advantages of being poor."
Yeah, and that about made me gag. Sean also made a sound of disgust at that line when he overheard it. I haven't had the advantages of being poor.
And also, neither has anybody else but Joe. Maybe Mrs. Garrett when she was young, because we don't know.
Right. So Blair's calling everyone else poor, which is bitchy.
Because to her, they probably are.
Yeah. All right, you little bitch. That I just kind of said I related to.
Then Joe gets emotional telling the girls about her boyfriend, Eddie, of 3 weeks.
Who I totally forgot about. I just remember she cries or something, and she was good in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tootie makes the joke of, "I'd like to be bussed to a better room." And I, at that moment, was like,
Yeah.
okay. That was...
Yeah,
that
the jokes that
was
Tootie makes...
not a good joke.
Right. They're usually not that funny to me, not only in the context of the time period, but just in general, It really seems like they are sort of tokenizing her and making her...
Well, she was definitely tokenized.
Yeah, they're making her make light of things that shouldn't be made light of. Even on a show that has darker subject matter sometimes. Like, I don't know. It just... It that was the part that aged the worst to me, was the things Tootie said.
I agree with you, but having been there, I just want to say that the evolution of those of us who have never felt racist, but who did laugh at things like that, or did say things like cute for a black guy, or there's a lot of evolving that has come from then. See, when I moved to Kentucky, that's when I found out that racism was a thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't exposed to it in Philadelphia. And what I was exposed to in Lexington that would now be considered racist, like I just said, people saying, "Oh, she's pretty for a black girl, she's pretty for a white girl." It was there was still, even though we weren't segregated, there was still a little bit of that kind of behavior. And like in my high school here in Nashville, I told you this before, we segregated ourselves. Like all of the black kids went here, all of the jock kids went here, we did it ourselves. No one told us to. We've come so far, but we can't dismiss the way we were then, because we were learning, we were evolving. Our friends, they didn't say to us, "It hurts my feelings when you tell me that I don't act like a black guy."
Because they didn't feel safe to do so.
I understand that now.
Yeah.
But at the time, we thought we were being nice. We didn't know.
Yeah. There's so much that you don't know until someone tells you. The history is so complicated.
So much.
Yeah.
Just in the past 20 years. But like I said, never have I ever had anything in my heart that said people that are not the same color of you as you are beneath you. No one taught me that. I didn't believe that. I didn't think that. I was just talking like everybody else talked, even my black friends.
And
so
those are just, in terms of levels of racism, I feel like that's more forgivable because for you, it wasn't coming from that place. But also, it's not the responsibility of every black person to educate white people. Like, we need to go figure this out on our own and learn learn from our mistakes and figure that out. That is not their job.
It is not their job, but also we did not have the internet. We did not have television shows that told us that it wasn't because we had the black girl on the Facts of Life making the black jokes. That's what I'm saying. Things like this is what led to us learning that it wasn't okay. I think the Facts of Life, even the title of the show, evolved because the Facts of Life didn't end until 1988. So it evolved along with us, with me. Putting black people on TV more, watching TV shows with black people on them, I think was helpful, even if they did teach me things that I didn't need to be taught sometimes.
I'm curious what, people of other backgrounds would have to say about that. Because I hear that and I get it. On a similar note, my grandpa, who was openly racist, would watch shows like Sanford and Son, which was very much like caricatures,
Yes.
It was not a flattering portrayal. And he thought it was hilarious, but it was like, is this show made for him? What is the point here? It was very confusing.
No, I think that at the time it kind of was, because everything was kind of geared toward white people.
And my question is, like, if you're Tootie, okay, if you're the actress that plays Tootie, do you not get the job because you don't like the way they've written your character? No, you're going to take the job.
100%.
And so then she has to question herself and wonder, like, is what I'm doing harmful? Because the show was massively popular and was on forever.
Well, she was 12. I think her parents...
Well, even at 12, you have an inkling, I think, of when you're being made fun of and when something's not right. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not her, but I could imagine feeling conflicted about that, especially as the show went on, because she was cast when she was 12 and may not have fully understood. I'm sure that when she got older, she started to realize like some of this stuff isn't going to be cute anymore.
Yeah. And like I said, as the show evolved, so did her character. And actually, in the episode where Blair finds out her grandfather was in the KKK, I think Tootie did actually tell Blair to stop giving her things just because she's black.
Yeah.
I think there were conversations, and I think it probably did evolve more later on in the series. I do.
Regardless of that, Blair is clearly very privileged, and she's privileged on the back of a racist. Like, that's her family background. So, what is she supposed to do with that? And
it was real hard for her. It was a real hard episode to watch.
Bet. Yeah. But yeah, she doesn't have the benefits of being poor like the other girls.
Bless her heart.
So, yeah. Bless her heart, I guess. I noticed another weird thing Tootie said was that she said, I need 8 hours of sleep a night. If I'm dreaming, I'm messing around with Michael Jackson, I need 9.
Yeah, that was kind of ew.
She was 12.
She's 12.
Weird.
Probably 13 at this point, but still.
Not that kids that age don't know about those things, but is it appropriate to be joking about that on TV as an actual kid that age? I don't know. It was a little skeevy to me.
A little, yeah.
Yeah. And then
but also
later,
I wanted to mess around with Michael Jackson when I was 13. So.
But yeah, there's nothing weird about that. I think the weirdness comes from saying it out loud in this context.
Yeah.
Like that was what
and to an adult.
To an adult. Yeah, they were talking to Mrs. Garrett when she said that. Later, also, Joe said her mom's a cocktail waitress and she gets pinched a lot. Yeah. And then Natalie said, sounds like a great career, like totally sincerely.
Because Natalie's about that life.
Natalie, girl, all right. So yeah, that's the point when I wrote in the script, I guess Natalie is the thirsty one. Is that her whole personality? And Ivy just wrote yes.
It's true.
Okay. But yeah, Joe also said to some girl that was being mean to her, I've seen you in gym class. You've got way more than one role or something.
Oh, was that the bitch that got her face smashed in by Blair with the dessert?
The fat jokes are just relentless.
Yeah, welcome to the 80s.
And they're cheap and not even that funny, I didn't appreciate those, but I mean, no, I get it.
That was fat jokes, black jokes, all those offensive jokes were just jokes then.
Jokes that teens should not be making on television.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'll get to it later. But if you want to compare this to some present day TV, you're going to be shocked.
Okay. The girls find out that working in the cafeteria is hard.
Oh, my.
And they struggle with the whole thing. They have to share one bathroom with Mrs. Garrett. They're falling asleep in class. The other girls are so mean to them. One of the girls, the one that called out Joe, making fun of her mom being a waitress or something, the girl that was bullying Joe, that she said, you have more roles than that. Blair actually took a plate of half-eaten dessert out of the... What is it called? A slop bin? I don't know. What is the mess cart?
Yeah.
Like a gross half-eaten dessert and slammed it in that girl's face. And I was like, yes, Blair. Yeah, because that's the thing. That's the weird dynamic between Joe and Blair. Yeah.
It's giving sisterly, like I'm allowed to make fun of her, but no one else is.
Yeah.
Which was always something that confused me as an only child.
Well, but then 4 of them became very sisterly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Living in the same room, But then I noticed that's Molly Ringwald. And I saw her for a second and I was like, Sean, that's Molly Ringwald. And he was like, what? And I backed it up and he was like, oh my God, it is. Like, I had no idea she was on this show.
She was a main character in the whole first season.
Okay. Well, she pops,
And her name was Molly.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't fit into this particular,
Yeah.
and that was, I believe, that was the only time that she ever appeared again.
Well, then I guess it was shortly after that she started getting those John Hughes movies and stuff, and her career popped off, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, another weird Tootie joke. She says, it's always been a rough life for my people. First Miss Jane Pittman, now me, which got a big laugh. I had to Google Miss Jane Pittman because I was not familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And listeners, if you're not familiar, Miss Jane Pittman, there, I believe, is a fictional autobiography of her
Yeah, she's not real.
She was not a real person, but it was sort of fictionalized accounts of like real terrible things that happened to slaves and escaped slaves and all of that stuff. So it was a kind of a dark reference. And I just don't like her making jokes about the hardships of her people. Like we're all just supposed to yuck it up when she's referring to actual oppression and racism, Right. And how was that received when the show was on? Was it just like, ha ha, yuck, yuck?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Weird.
I think that, like I said before, I think that it was just the way it was then.
Yeah. Wild.
So, the 80s were wild times. And
was there for
after
part of
the humiliation of the girl saying stuff to Joe about her mom, Joe decides to run away. And she and Blair have the first of many arguments turned heart to heart with the help of Mrs. Garrett. Joe reluctantly decides to stay to not disappoint her mom. As the episode ends with Blair telling Nat and Tootie, the bad news is Joe was thinking of leaving. The good news is she decided to stay. Or is that the bad news? And some playful pillow fighting closes the episode.
Okay. Joe was great in that scene. There was good acting by her there. She stood out as a authentic kind of performer to me. The others were a little more like over the top. How about this? My confusion is coming from the weird juxtaposition of like the canned laugh track sitcom thing with sort of predictable jokes and the hard-hitting subject matter that comes later.
Right.
So who was this for? Like, who are they marketing it
girls.
for? So teenage girls. Okay. It is just, I think it's just weird to me with the kids seeming so young and like the family sitcom feeling, but they're making some off-color jokes and all. And I don't know.
Even cartoons have things in them for the parents to laugh at.
This is true.
And sitcom TV in the 80s was mostly families with children and teenagers. And this just happened to be just the teenagers.
Yeah.
And I have thought about that a lot, about how sitcom TV kind of grew up with me. Like when I was little, and there were shows like Cheers, and like my dad watched MASH and all those things that were just grown-ups. But to me, they were, and I see things in my head sort of in color or in like muted, and like MASH and Barney Miller, and those things are kind of dark to me. Like they weren't something that I was interested in. But things like Facts of Life, Different Strokes, Too Close for Comfort, all the sitcoms that One Day at a Time, all the ones that I found to be bright. Those were the ones that I wanted to watch. And they had people in them, at least one character that was my age. You don't see a lot of that now unless it's on Nickelodeon.
Have you seen Euphoria?
No.
Okay. Euphoria is a show that I think is marketed towards teens, but it's about like a teenage drug addict. There are some everybody's having sex with everybody on that show. It's like really adult material.
Well, here's the thing.
It's about high school kids.
I have thought about how if I were to write a book or a story or even a blog about 7th and 8th grade, I couldn't market it to teenagers. It was bad. We did bad things.
Yeah. I did not.
As children.
My childhood was pretty sheltered.
No. I mean,
I was a youth group kid.
some of the best days, dare I say, of my life were snow days in middle school, which we called junior high school. 7th and 8th grade snow days. I personally did not do sex things, but I did the drug things and the drinking the alcohol from my friends' parents' bar things.
Ooh, Ivy,
and
she
watching
was a bad girl.
watching the R-rated movies and
Girl, I didn't see an R-rated movie until I was like 17, and it was a DVD of The Matrix.
Did I ever tell you
that's
about
the first R-rated movie? Yeah.
Purple Rain?
No.
Same friend, Lenny. My friend Lenny Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Her Aunt Ann had a boyfriend named Eric. And Eric had a bunch of highfalutin, equipment, okay? We were, of course, not allowed to see Purple Rain because, well, parents and R-rated movies, and we were children when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sex scene. Have you seen Purple Rain?
No.
I don't know what's wrong with you.
Sorry. I love Prince.
So
but I
see
haven't
Purple
seen that
Rain.
movie. Okay.
So, there's a sex scene in Purple Rain.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all in Lenny Ann's bedroom watching this videotape that Eric had copied the movie Purple Rain onto for us, probably Betamax, watching this thing. We're all sitting there. We're going to see sex.
Yep.
This motherfucker taped over the sex scene with ocean waves.
Great job.
Yeah.
Excellent parenting.
Good job.
Friend.
He's not even a parent. He was the boyfriend of the aunt.
Good job, dude.
Well, Aunt Ann was a parent, but to all of
funny.
us. But yeah. So.
Okay. The facts of life compared to like Euphoria, Riverdale, any of the shit that like teens watch now, it's fine.
Yeah. Lame, even.
It's lame, even. But something about it made me uncomfortable, and I think it was more like the talking about it in front of adults, maybe?
Maybe.
And the racism,
Yeah.
the things
which I did not see as racism at the time because I did not know that there was racism.
We may not have even seen it that way 10, 15 years ago.
Absolutely.
Like our culture has really woken up to a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I had a long conversation with a girlfriend of mine who basically I could not believe my ears, what she was telling me. She's black. I could not believe what she was telling me because guess what? It never happened to me. And so it wasn't real to me. Like I couldn't even know. There's no way that you're being followed by police. You drive a nicer car than me. Mm-hmm. And she's like, all the fucking time. So.
And it takes building a relationship and a real trust with people who are different than you before those things even become apparent, Yeah.
And also, sometimes we don't know things, and when we learn them, we change our behaviors, and that is a good thing. And if you're too stubborn to change your behaviors when you learn something, then
you're a dick.
You're different than me. So, Katie, The Facts of Life ran for 9 seasons, from 1979 to 1988 on NBC. There were 201 regular episodes and 3 television movies, Paris, Down Under, and The Reunion, which I don't remember The Reunion, but I remember everything else. The Reunion was in like 2001. I can't imagine that I didn't watch it, but I don't remember it. And so I told you a little bit about how much, the series literally means a lot to me. It's like something that really matters to me. And when Jody found it on Tubi, because he always turns something on for me when he goes and gets in the shower, and he started turning on episodes of The Facts of Life, And I told you about the weird stuff in the first episode about the Cindy possibly being a lesbian and then miraculously not being. But in the Facts of Life, in just the first couple of seasons that I have watched since it came on Tubi, there has been suicide at Eastland. There has been the abortion episode at Eastland was intense. They wanted to kick Natalie out of school because she wrote an article about someone having an abortion. She made it up because she wanted to have the article, but then the school started pressuring her to rat out whoever it was because the parents wouldn't want her to stay there. And then an actual girl who actually had had an actual abortion came and spoke to Natalie. And Mrs. Garrett, in her infinite wisdom, said, "Don't you rat on that girl."
Yeah.
And then, of course, adoption. Natalie's adopted. That was that came up in multiple episodes. Sexual assault. When I saw that episode, I knew I never, ever, ever forgot that episode, because when Joe got asked to the dance by the boy that Blair wanted to take her, Blair was sure that he was going to take her. He asked Joe because he assumed that Joe would give him something that Blair wouldn't.
Oh, wow.
And so when she came back with one missing shoe and her hair messed up, that was it was a tough episode to watch then.
Yeah.
It was a tough episode to watch as an adult.
Yeah.
And
because she would have been, what?
16, 17?
16, 17?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And borrowed one of Blair's dresses, like went to the dance in a dress with a date, high-heeled shoes. Everybody talking about how pretty she was. Not your typical Joe. Basically, I believe, if I remember correctly, she only went because Blair wanted him to take her. And it was like, haha, he's going to take me. So that was a tough, tough episode. Disabilities. There was, Blair has a cousin named Jerry who has cerebral palsy and is a comedian. And there was an episode where they thought Blair was ashamed of Jerry, and it turned out that she was jealous of Jerry. Underage marriage, when Joe tried to marry her boyfriend Eddie. And, of course, my favorite was the episode where Mrs. Garrett exclaimed, "It's a bong!" Because the girls brought home a bong that they thought was a jelly bean dispenser.
Oh, my God. Girls.
Yeah.
Okay. Those crazy girls.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess I kind of want to check out some of those episodes.
Yeah. I mean,
we will probably return to this series,
I hope
listeners,
so.
because this has been very fun. I still don't know what I'm going to make Ivy watch, because Ivy has seen every episode of TV that's ever aired in this country. And all of the ones that I was suggesting, like from my childhood, you've already seen.
But the problem with that is your childhood was in the 90s, right?
Yeah. I mean, and
I was still watching.
My early childhood was 80s.
I was still watching sitcom TV in the 90s.
Right.
And then I had kids who watched some TV. So I saw some things. Now, I have not watched every episode of a lot of things. But when you asked me if I had ever seen Beavis and Butthead, I was like, girl. Beavis and Butthead has been around since you were too young to watch Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, for sure. I was. But I did anyway. And it was not worth cracking the code on my parents'
I love me some Beavis
parent
and
lock
Butthead.
thing to watch Beavis and Butthead.
We watch Beavis and Butthead.
I had code cracking skills for the remote control. But anyways.
Good for you.
So, what about the Facts of Life? Is it toxic?
To me, it's completely non-toxic. I love it. I love everything about it. There's some uncomfortable things, and there's some things that did not age well. I told you about the episode that the R word was used.
Yeah.
It was used in all seriousness. That was at the time the diagnosis. It is what it was called. But to hear it now in 2026 for Mrs. Garrett to say he's the R word was hard for me. It wasn't easy for me. It was like, ooh, ow.
Yeah.
You know, like when I saw that when they said transvestite on Too Close for Comfort, I'm like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we say that? But I don't think
Yeah.
it's a toxic waste of time. I don't even think it's toxic-ish. I think it's good, wholesome TV.
Okay. Well, it's hard for me to say just because I have only seen these first
Right.
2 episodes, but it sounds like it hasn't aged entirely well, but I get what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, I think that what they're trying to do is open your mind to have compassion for people who are different than you in their experience or their background or whatever it is. And, you know, just show compassion and forgiveness. And I guess that's what Miss Garrett's character is about. It's just kind of like, you know, loving people through their mistakes and whatever. But when I tell you as a teacher, she would have been so fired. You know?
So many
That's where I'm coming
times.
from on this. Like, ma'am, she's going to jail. But, you know, there were for sure a couple of things that shocked me watching just these 2 episodes. But, I mean, it could just be me. But like I said, I don't have a problem with the crazy shit that teens watch now. I don't have a teenager, but they're also watching these things on like HBO and not broadcast TV,
Right, that's the
presumably
thing.
in prime time.
There wasn't even
So-
cable TV when this first started.
Right.
That we did not have a lot to choose from. We had ABC, CBS, NBC, and PBS. That's what we had until I guess cable TV happened maybe the year after this season, maybe 82.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Well, the joke during that time period was like, this kid seems to know all about dirty stuff. Oh, his parents have cable, you know? So yeah, this was maybe a little racy for primetime TV. I don't really know. Parts of this show definitely have aged like milk. But I don't think it's a toxic waste of time either. I don't really think it's toxic. I just think, like, if you guys, listeners, you decide to go back and watch it, for sure, send us some comments about what you think.
Yeah.
That would be so fun, and suggest some episodes for us to watch, because we're going to try to do an episode like this on the pod maybe once a month of like a past TV. We're gonna name the series something cute. We haven't thought of the name yet, but yeah, I like doing this thing. And I totally still hear people refer to the certain episodes that they remember fondly, like Ivy was saying, like that they never forgot that episode about whatever. And it did present a way to address some sticky topics in sort of a safer way, which truly is kind of the best way to tackle those things.
Yeah.
You know, for teens and stuff, I always found that when a hard conversation had to be had, the best way to do it was with honesty and compassion and being as delicate as you could, but not like hiding things from them, you know, just being honest.
Yeah.
And that's what the show was trying to do, for sure.
Absolutely. You
So-
take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
The facts of life. Okay, we got to stop. So, thank you guys for listening. We had a good time. Thank you for suggesting this for me to watch. I enjoyed it.
I can't
had a
wait
lot of
for
things
you to
say
find
about it.
something for me to watch.
I know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. It might be something more obscure that you haven't seen, but we'll make it happen. How do the listeners send us an email, Ivy? What do they do?
Contact at toxicwasteoftime.com is our
That's right.
email address. We have Facebook and Instagram, both called Toxic Waste of Time.
Yes.
You can also
And-
drop a comment, a review. We love 5-star reviews. I hear that helps algorithms or something. If you would just
I hear.
give us a review.
Share this episode with somebody who's a big fan of Facts of Life.
Yes, share
This episode with somebody who's never seen it. If you want to watch with us and follow along on our little journey, we'll try to tell you before the episode comes out which one we're going to do next.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next time with a very special guest. One of our new besties, fellow podcast host and super nice lady who knows a lot of stuff about stuff. Dawn Cunningham will be joining us on the podcast for our discussion about our relationship with mothers and mothering and motherhood and all of that sort of stuff. It's a great one. We are so excited to have her on the podcast, so please tune in then. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.